Yo, what is up everybody, Sir Mulah, your favorite black commentator. Now I told you guys I'd bring you 3 videos for this week, and this is the last and 3rd video. So I decided to bring something a little different to my channel. I don't usually tell you guys to leave a like before the video even starts, but if you do happen to enjoy, don't forget to drop a like. And tell me if you want a part 2 to this video. Anyways, I'm going to be bringing you guys 3 of the creepiest bathroom experiences. And I got this idea after doing a video on disgusting bathrooms, so hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get I was 7 years old and I was taking a crap in the bathroom while camping out with the family. The bathroom was okay, decent flushable toilets, but the walls were constructed of rickety plywood. I was happily plopping away when some old, probably a 30-year-old guy, kicks down the door and starts grabbing at me. I'm mid-crap and crying from being so terrified and trying to fend him off. He's yelling mindless drivel at me and I'm crying for my mom. Suddenly, these 2 older men rush in and began pulling the guy off me. Apparently, he was mentally handicapped. This was probably one of my worst bathroom experiences. I am still a bit traumatized and won't take a crap in the public bathroom anymore. I live in a house compound, and one day me and my family were visiting a friend's house. After a couple hours, my mom and my friend's mom asked us to go fetch something from my house. So we go back to my house, which is a long way from his, and the walk seemed uncomfortably long and creepy, and had an airy atmosphere for some reason. After ages of walking, we reach my house, and we get the thing that they need, which was inside the house. So I unlocked the door and got the object, and I noticed the bathroom door was lit and the exhaust fan was on, which we usually turned off unless someone's using the toilet. But I didn't give that any attention and thought Dad was using the toilet, since he wasn't in my friend's house when we left. So me and my buddy decided to wait outside the house for my dad to finish. And I occasionally went to the small window outside the bathroom and called for my dad, but I didn't get an answer. But I heard someone humming and singing, so I thought he was just having a good time. After a good half an hour passed, I started feeling uneasy and told my friend we had to leave, because our parents are probably mad now. When we arrived at his house, we were shocked to see my dad sitting and talking with my friend's parents. We asked him, "Where were you?" and he said, "I didn't go anywhere. I just stayed here since we first came." This made me scared because my family was at his house for 3 hours, and we just waited for my dad for 1. I go ask my sister the same question and I get the same response. Someone was surely in the bathroom. After the visit is done, we go back home just to find that the front door, which I locked, was unlocked and the bathroom door was wide open. My family acted normal, but I was completely freaking out and couldn't sleep that night. So I've lurked on this page for a while, and I finally decided to share a pretty terrifying experience that happened to me 7 years back, when I was 14. I used to live in a pretty nasty area, and went to a bad high school too, so every place my friends and I used to hang out was pretty seedy. There were gangs, the occasional drive-by shooting, and all of that kind of stuff. We were all used to it though, and since we pretty much avoided that kind of scene, we weren't targets for any violence, and we were allowed to go wherever as long as we stuck together in a pack of 3 or more. Anyway, my friends and I made plans to go to the movies like we often did on the weekends. It was a few hours out of the house, fun, relatively cheap, and we got snacks too, so we did this pretty frequently. We often went to this one shady movie theater that was literally on the outskirts of town, was barely in business, and had horrible staff, mostly because they let us into whatever movie we wanted, regardless of the rating. So it was me and about 5 other people, and once we got there, we stocked up on snacks, soda, and candy. Before long, I had to pee really badly, but my friends wouldn't accompany me to the bathroom, so I decided to go along. The theater was really terrible. The floors were covered in trash, and there was maybe 1 employee working at the moment as far as I could see. The employee was also obviously there because their parents were forcing them to, hardly over 16 probably, bored looking, and busy listening to her MP3 player and texting on her LG chocolate. I walked into the corridor that led to the bathrooms and entered the girls' bathroom. At first I thought it was empty, which made me both relieved and creeped out. Relieved because I was an awkward child who hated acknowledging people. Creeped out because it was a pretty big, dirty bathroom that echoed and you always felt like someone was watching you. There were 6 stalls. In the first section of the bathroom was your mirror and sink combo. And then there was a turn, and you had 2 sets of 3 stalls facing each other. I entered the very closest to the door so I could get out there as soon as I was done peeing. but I found that the toilet was covered in feces and what appeared to be period blood. The next toilet was absolutely encrusted in dirt, and the third was the cleanest. I stepped inside and started doing my business. That was when I heard the giggling. Low, steady, and insane giggling. I froze. I wasn't sure where it was coming from, but my blood literally felt like it had turned to ice. The giggling was slowly growing louder, more to a sort of cackle now, and I was freaked out. I had no idea what to do, so I sat there when I should have ran. The door across from mine clicked open and I saw a pair of shoes shuffling over. I prayed silently that they would ignore me and continue to the door, but they didn't. They literally walked to my door, slowly and menacingly, and stopped so that whoever belonged to those feet was facing my door head on, probably with their nose touching the door. More laughing. I thought for a moment I'd throw up. I looked at the shoes. For a second I felt relieved because they were Mary Jane type shoes over a pair of white socks, and I thought maybe it was a little kid, but when I noticed the size easily an adult size, I felt my stomach sink. The laughter also was deranged and didn't sound like a little kid's. I was paralyzed in fear. The person began scratching on the door, laughing hysterically, and I wiped myself and lifted my knees to my chest, staring at the shoes. They started getting onto their knees, and I felt full-fledged panic. They were going to crawl under the stall. On the floor I saw a little frilly pink dress, about kneeling, and a flash of long, greasy gray hair. Then a hand reached under the stall. I was breathing heavy and crying at this point, unsure what to do, since I was pretty much trapped. I texted my friends a bunch of times begging for them to come and help me, but I assumed their phones were off, since I also tried calling them and nothing happened. The hands were long, veiny, and literally covered in burn scars and long, shiny cuts that had obviously been stitched in a botched job. In a strike of bravery, I stuck my foot out and stumped the hands. I was wearing a pair of clunky boots that used to be popular, so it must have really hurt. Their hands retreated from under the stall, and all I could hear was muttering. I wasn't sure what to do at this point, so I just stood there, waiting. Then, suddenly, in a completely sober, sane-sounding voice, this creepy old lady just said, "Open the door." I screamed at the top of my lungs, and she literally started saying the creepiest stuff. No longer weird or crazy sounding. Eventually, I heard the bathroom door open, and she immediately stopped and retreated back to what I assumed to be a bathroom stall. When I exited the stall, I saw the young girl who was working at the front desk, looking concerned. At this point, I'd been in the bathroom for maybe 15 minutes. She told me she heard screaming, and I rushed her out of the bathroom before I could tell her what happened. She was thoroughly freaked out and went into the back room for a minute, where she was getting her manager, I assumed. Another young-looking guy, but slightly older, came out and went into the girl's bathroom, knocking on the walls and announcing that whoever was in there needed to leave. Upon investigating further, he found all the stalls were empty, so he assumed that when I went with the girl to get her manager, whoever was harassing me escaped from the bathroom. It was pretty traumatic, and when I went back to my friends, they were concerned about where I'd been. After I told them what happened, we left without finishing the movie. We never went to that theater again. My parents wanted to contact the police, but I didn't, so that never happened. To this day, when I go to a movie theater bathroom, I force one of my friends to accompany me to the bathroom. So, weird old lady who harassed me in the bathroom, let's not meet. Yeah, I wouldn't be wearing literal joggers outside at that weather. Yeah, I would have died. Since I was wearing shorts, my phone must have flew out of my pockets while I was riding a bike, and I was going 30 miles per hour, so